Welcome to Waypoint Connect, and it's my pleasure to welcome Toit Wessels. Toit, welcome to Waypoint Connect.
Oh, thank you. Thank you, Dirk. It's a pleasure to be here.
I always wanted to have someone with two surnames on Waypoint Connect, and you're our guy, so welcome.
Yes. Someone told me once, luckily, I don't have a twin brother who's also called Toy. Then we will be Toy. So stick to Toy Wessels.
So, welcome. Toit, you with Kraggakamma Gemeente in Fernglen Sunridge area, but obviously nowadays we're not bound to geographic areas anymore, but that's kind of where your church is and your faith community is based. But tell us a bit about yourself.
Yes, so I moved to Kraggakamma about 10 months ago, me and my wife, and we moved from Paarl. So we decided we had enough of this heat. We want to move, we want to be with close to the ocean. So then we moved here, and it's been a nice 10 months. I really enjoyed it. The people are friendly, the weather is nice, and yeah, we feel really at home here in Kraggakamma and in the broader Kraggakamma.
Awesome, welcome,
Yes.
and it's so great to see that you've acquired that accent.
Yeah, no, it's not
pronunciation.
Great. It's not great. I want to ask you a question, Dirk.
Yes.
So at the church where I work, there's a bushuisie. So it's a place where the bus stays. And after a while, someone asked me, where's the bus? So I started asking around in the congregation, like, waar is Kraggakamma's bus?
Because
Where's
if
the
you've
bus?
got a bus house, there must be a bus, but you don't see the bus.
Yes. So, but whenever I ask someone, where's the bus, they tell me, ask Dirk.
Yeah.
So Dirk, waar is die bus? Where's the bus?
I'm famous for not a lot of things, but that's the one thing I'm famous for. I lost Kraggakamma's bus on an outreach. Like, literally.
Did you donate the bus?
We went on an outreach to Kanzibe in the Transkei, and we got there on the Friday. That Saturday morning, the pastor we stayed with woke us up like 4 o'clock in the morning. Now, on his good day, he's a scary guy, but
Okay.
4 o'clock in the morning, it's even worse. And then it's like, what's happening? He's like, your bus is gone. So we literally donated a bus on our outreach. So if there are any companies out there that would like to make big donations to communities, then just get in contact with me and I will hook you up with some people. So that's the story behind the bus.
When did this happen?
It was about 10 years back.
Okay.
And the worst part was that bus didn't even have 12,000 kilometers on it.
Okay.
Even though Kraggakamma had the bus for probably 12, 15 years.
Okay.
It was immaculate.
Okay.
And there we start our outreach on the first day, and the
Okay.
bus is gone. And for me, I just experienced that it's not about the bus that's gone.
Yeah.
It's about we're here to invest in the community, show God's love to the community. But that's the people that stole the bus. So suddenly this joy that you had for what you're going to do is taken from you.
Okay.
And for me, that was the big challenge to see it for that. But then the second thought was I was going to explain that the bus is missing. But I think the way it
Yes.
fits in perfectly with our topic, because our topic that we're talking about today is prayer. And I think when you're faced with a situation like that, where suddenly what you were expecting doesn't turn out the way you anticipated at all, as a Christian, as a person, what do?
Yes.
But then luckily, as a Christian, we've got a few more options. And I think prayer is one of those things. So do you want
Yes.
to take us into the
Yeah,
topic?
so I've got a couple of ideas about prayer, and this is from my own experience. I'm only 30 years old, and this is how I see it. The one problem I have with prayer is that we think you should use a lot of words, and prayer becomes easily a one-directional affair, where I speak to God, and God must and should listen to me. But no conversation is healthy if it's only one way. Like, for example, I speak to you, but I listen to you.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing about prayers. I miss that we make time to listen during prayer. And not just speak to God, but listen to God.
As if God needs to know what it is that I need.
Yes.
He knows
Yeah.
what I need, so that can't be the focus of prayer, right?
Yes, so most of our prayers sounds literally like a grocery list. It's like, I want this, I would like that, please provide that, give me this. And that is not a healthy relationship.
Yeah.
In a healthy relationship, you listen. So I think prayer is not this one-way communication. It's always two ways. And I would like to see more of us just making time to really be quiet and listen. Especially where we are now in this time of the church year, where we're heading into Pinkster. What is Pinkster in English?
Pentecost.
To the Pentecost festival. A time where we think about how is the Spirit working in me and through me. And I think you'll only realize that if you spend time listening to God and listening to the Spirit.
Yeah. It's kind of when you come out of your session in the morning that you spent with God, it shouldn't be what did you pray about, is what did you hear from God?
Yes.
That should kind of be the question when you engage with, in my context, with your
Yes.
colleagues, is like, what did you hear from God this morning? What did He tell you?
Yes.
Yeah.
But the problem is also we give God the times where we are either very hungry, so the plate of food is here, now I'm going to pray quickly, but I'm very hungry, so I'm going to pray quickly. Or we give God the time when we are really tired. So most of the times we pray right before we fall asleep. And then you fall asleep, and the next morning you wake up, you're like, okay, amen.
Yeah.
So I don't think we're very intentional about our conversations with God.
And I attended Francois Carr's session on Tuesday, where he explained about his whole approach to living in contact with God, living in contact with people from the perspective of discipling. And what he said that links in with what you're saying is, okay, so now you've said to yourself, after listening to this, okay, so let me start tomorrow morning and pray. But he related it to Moses on the mountain. And what he said was, understand that you're there, but then prepare.
Yes.
So if I know I'm going to get up at 5 tomorrow morning,
Yes.
I can't go to bed at 12.
Yeah.
Because I'm not going to be very awake at 5. That's the one side. The other side is, what's the last thing that I watch, that I listen to, that I look at before I go to bed? And it's if it's your average run-of-the-mill
Yes.
Netflix, where it's, oh my God, and Jesus
Yes.
this and that, and what else we see on the screen. And then I expect I'm supposed to walk into a space tomorrow morning where
Yes.
I'm able to be in God's presence, hear and hear God clearly.
Yes.
With that mindset, I'm not going to be able to do it effectively.
Yes.
So it takes a bit of discipline, not from the negative side of the way we often see discipline in church, but my own personal discipline for my own benefit, so that
Yes.
I'm more effective in my time with God.
Definitely, definitely. I had one of my teachers at school always said that hy het gesê ons lewe van kitskoffie in die oggend tot kitsgodsdiens in die aand. It's literally
I
we're
love
living from instant coffee to instant
Religion.
in the evening.
Yeah.
And that's not healthy. It's not a healthy relationship. We should be more intentional about our time with God, but especially listening. And then also another thing that I think we should focus on is that when I pray, I don't pray like God is working for me. Like God is not at my service. It's the other way around. I pray as if I'm working for God. And that makes prayer a whole embodiment thing. It's like I won't pray, or I can pray, God, provide water in our city, please do.
Yeah.
But what if my prayer is also, God, help me to use the resources, the water in my city wisely? You see, nou bid ek nie asof God vir my werk nie, ek bid asof ek vir God werk.
Yeah.
It's something different.
And giving you a different perspective on it.
Yes.
Something else that Francois Carr highlighted is that concept of taking your diary in your prayer time and praying over your meetings of the day. Saying, is everybody that I'm supposed to see today on this list?
Yes.
And who's on this list that shouldn't be on this list? And then when I've got the list confirmed, then pray into, who do I need to share what with?
Yes.
So that it's not just my day and I decide my day, but this 45 minutes I'm praying with God.
Yes.
And then I go off and I go and do my own thing.
Yeah.
But it's like even in my day, I've spent time with God preparing for the day,
Yeah.
coming back to what you're saying, so that He can use me. Not so that I can run out my agenda for the day and achieve what I want to achieve for the day. But God, how do you want to use me today? How can I be more effective?
Yeah. So then prayer is not something that I do, it's more something that I am.
Yeah.
It's like my walking is my praying, my meeting is a prayer, my working with other people is a prayer. So then prayer time is actually your whole diary. But you need to be intentional about that. Yeah. No, it's nice speaking to you about this, Dirk. I enjoy this.
And Toit, there's a lot that we can unpack further, but I
Yes.
think those three things as a takeaway for our session. Prepare for your time with God.
Yes.
So get into the right space beforehand. Then understand that you're there to listen to God,
Yes.
not to go through a prayer request list. and then linking in with what you're saying is really focused then on how does God want to use you,
Yes.
and understand that prayer time isn't for me to use God so that I can get what I want, but allowing that time for God to speak into my life.
Yes. Yes.
I think in closing, part of why we don't want to do it is because we're scared that God isn't going to speak. So maybe in closing you can just speak about that. If somebody's sitting there
Yes.
and they're like, man, this Toit guy has inspired me.
Yeah.
I want to do it tomorrow. But man, what if God doesn't speak to me?
Yeah.
So let me not try.
No, but I think the silence usually scares us. But why can't we be okay in the stillness? Like there's numerous Bible texts about God speaking in stillness and speaking after a while of it being still. So I would encourage the person to just remain in that state, just remain in that presence and be open to when God will speak. And it's not always this audible voice that we expect. Sometimes it's through a friend, sometimes it's through a text, or sometimes even through the Netflix you watch right before bed. So just remain present and open and see what will happen.
Yeah. Awesome. Love it.
Yeah.
Guys, I hope you enjoyed it. I hope that we've inspired you to press in your prayer life, because God wants to use you in a powerful way, but He can't if we're not open to it. So embrace it, embrace the silence, and remember, have a great week.